Welcome to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while acting foolish and loving a little toxicity.
Gonna love what we love, do it out loud. Stack our shelves with the clinches out. Shout it from the rooftop, can you hear the sound? Yeah. Live your best life, love it out loud. Love it out loud.
Hey HBs, I hope you're looking forward to a wonderful end of summer. I'm not gonna lie, I've loved this summer, but I'm ready to get to my fall garden and regular school schedule, you know? Okay, last week, I just want to let everybody know we moved some things around at the last minute for all you patrons and Apple Podcast subscribers. Instead of Paladin's Faith, we published a friend catch-up after my Dollywood trip that was so necessary and fun and good and just the best. Don't worry, Paladin's Faith is still coming out just next week. This week on Patreon and our Apple Podcast subscription, Sabrina and I are talking about Alien Claw by Ursa Dax because not even required eyeball reading has been able to stop me from consuming this series. If you want to check out our Patreon, visit patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast. All right, this week we've got a series that's very close to my heart. Here's part one of our recap of Possessive Puckboy by Eden Finley and Saxon James. Hello, Sabrina.
Oh my God, Mel. Mel, I understand why you wanted to do this book instead of the last book on Pup. Okay. Hi, listener.
We're back with Puck Boys.
Hi.
It's time to do some Puck Boys. We're here. It's time.
Okay, listener. Hi. So, as you are surely well aware of at this point, Melody and I are in the midst of a continuing series that we've previously done on Pod.
Yeah.
Unless you're one of those people who just pops into random episodes, in which case, hi, new to this thing, listener.
Check us out in the back catalog.
We're in the middle of continuing series that we've enjoyed historically.
Yeah, for this series, we've done Egotistical Puckboy on the public pod, and then I have done every single other book on Patreon. Didn't we do another one on public pod, or am I making that up? Did I dream that? I think I dreamt it.
I literally had that thought last night, though, when I was finishing book. I was like, I feel like we've done it, but I don't know that we... Hang on, I gotta know. I have to know. Anyway, it's fine. Take the lead, Melody, on it, continuing to explain our thought process here. Because, listener, if you don't know, and this is incredible that I remember this because of my Swiss cheese memory, but we learned in the Egotistical Puckboy episode that I don't need to be here, actually. Puckboy episodes, and it continued on Patreon like this.
I'm a mess.
Puckboy episodes is a podcast of one.
It's a very enthusiastic podcast of 1.5, if I let Sabrina get a word in. So look, I fucking love this series. I also love this author duo. This is Eden Finley and Saxon James. I love them both separately. I love them together. And Puck Boys, for some reason, really just like hits all my perfect id and fluff and good things in this world buttons, you know? So it's been a pretty pivotal series for me in the last couple of years. I've read all of them at least twice. some of them like 5 times. And we've done every other book on Patreon with, mostly me telling Sabrina about them. And when we were talking about doing a continuing series, we stopped at book 6 on Patreon. And then the one we're going to talk about today, is book 8. So I really like book 7. I think it's really fun in a lot of different ways, but it felt like it wasn't a good one for public episode, just because one of the biggest reasons is that we'll talk about it a little bit. We have to talk about it a little bit to set this book up. But one of the biggest reasons is that I loved it as a fan, because we get to see the boys from every other book at like a reunion, like charity game kind of a situation. But that doesn't mean a whole lot to, public listener. So I love the book.
Who aren't into it. It also, it would need so much. The book itself was very good, but it's very good because we've read the 6 books prior. And so we come in knowing a bunch of information. Like, this is something that we've run in. We even talk about it on the Sweet Ruin episode. There's a lot of, like, lay down that comes out. Like, there's a lot of, right? Yeah. That's one thing I'm realizing in this continuing series is, like, there's so many books that, like, boy, it really is the question when we're deciding whether or not a book is a Patreon episode or a public episode. How much explanation are we gonna, how much catching up are we gonna have to do for listener? Because we try not to do things that we've only ever done on Patreon on public, that like when we were deciding what books to be in this continuing series, it's like, but is this book gonna be enjoyable on its own for us to talk about? Because like we don't want you to have to, like, we love it if you subscribe to the Patreon. That helps keep our lights on and all of these things and recording, but I don't want you to have to, right? We still want the public podcast to be an enjoyable experience. And book 7 would have just been so much exposition of us, like, going through the book and then going, wait, oh my God, now we have to explain this. And like, it's too much.
Right. So anyway, we're going to do another Patreon episodes that is going to come out this week, that is going to be books 7, 9, and 10, because we meet a couple of people in this book. We've met them before, but we meet a couple of the boys that end up in the last books that just make me so happy. They've made like cameos in books prior. And then they get dedicated books because Eden Finley and Saxon James are geniuses.
Mel,
they understand the biz.
I'm telling you my most favorite spoiler princess.
Oh, okay.
I'm letting you know I have not read 9 and 10 yet.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I don't even know who they're about. I haven't read the synopses of them even. I want to go in blind.
No, you're not going in blind. I'm telling you that right now. There's no fucking way.
Melody.
Sorry. You can go in really, you're going to know the fucking characters by the end of this. I'm sorry. Like, if you want to go in blind, fine. Go on.
Fine.
Go on. I'll finish podcast myself.
Yeah, you'd be fine. Actually, you wouldn't be fine, because then this would be an 8-parter episode. And like, I have to be here to be like, and now we're whimsying.
You have to rein a bitch in. Yeah.
I do. Okay, fine. You're allowed to, okay, fine. No, just rip the Band-Aid off. Tell me who, let me tell you my suspicion. I suspect that Novi and Kessinger get a book. Am I correct?
Who's Kessinger?
Better question. Novi. Does Novi get a book? 9 or 10? Okay. Is it with somebody in the AHL that he was rooming with?
Yeah. How do you know that?
Because it's in the epilogue, Mel.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It gets totally dry. And I was like, in my notes, I was like, I'm fucking calling it. This is a second chance.
That's the next book. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's kind of what my suspicion was. And now rip off the Band-Aid. Who's book 10?
The third Kiki brother, Lackey.
Okay, that's what I was suspecting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, all right, when we open up, this is going to be, so we've met Connor Kikishkin before. He's one of 3 Kikishkin brothers, And all three of them are in the NHL because they had a very serious, you will be hockey kind of family. Like right now, their parents quit both of their other jobs and are now their agents. Like it's that kind of family. And Connor's the oldest. In the seventh book, that was the middle brother Easton's book. And it's super fun because it's with Connor's best friend, the brother's best friend. And one of the big, giant conflicts in that book was Easton confronting Connor about being like way too overprotective and just really fucking with his life in ways that were completely unnecessary, but in a good-hearted but misguided manner. So one of the biggest things is that both Easton and Lackey are queer. And their parents, you know, when they were kids, the NHL, there were not a lot of out guys yet. And so their parents were like, okay, we love the fact that you're gay. It's fine. Great. That's no problem. The issue is how we're going to deal with whether or not you come out, like the timing of it.
How you come out.
Yep. How we deal with like the media PR campaign. Like it's always been talked about like that. And Connor, because both of his parents had to work really hard to be able to afford all three kids doing hockey with all the equipment and everything else, he became like the mother hen of the brothers. He was responsible for their well-being. He was responsible for like making sure they were on task. He was responsible for all of it. And he took that to also mean like he needs to make sure that they don't get in any like scandal trouble, right? Like, you need to come out on your terms. Don't come out because you're like the third book and you get caught in an alley. Oscar, yeah. You get
on
CCTV having a threesome in an alley.
Times. Yeah, threesomes, like, God. Also, I did look it up. I just confirmed that we did do, I don't know how this happened successfully. All 5 books were one Patreon that was only an hour and 5 minutes.
Incredible. Wow, you had that whip out, didn't you, Sabrina? Golly.
I guess. I must have been like, no.
Like, yeah, I wonder how fast I talked during that episode. I bet it's 8 miles a minute.
Fast. Also, like, I can't remember. Was it a dual quickie or were you just telling me
I was just telling you. It was just a
And then I went and just read them myself?
I think so. Yeah, I talked you into it in the episode.
Oh my God.
You understood how wonderful these books were by the time I was done talking about them. Yeah. And you had to go read them, Sabrina.
I mean, that's the funniest thing is like, I love both of these authors separately from Pod. I think I'm the one who introduced you to these authors. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Because you were like, I need fluffy MM. And I was like, boy. Although I say you need fluffy MM, and then boy, this book is rough. It's good. It's fantastic, but like some of the challenges.
All, so I'm glad. I'm glad. Well, okay, so look, here's the thing. It got so bad in the last book that Easton asked for a trade because he and Connor play on the same team. They are the Kikishkin brothers. Connor is a defenseman. Easton is a forward. And so they're like the dream team, right? But Easton gets so frustrated about this that he asks for a trade. And that's when Connor is forced to confront the way that he's been acting. And a lot of it, honestly, is not his fault. A lot of it is just an accident, a combination of like his natural personality and protective impulses, and then the way that his parents had to lean on him because, you know, there weren't as many spoons as there needed to be with the finances. So when we open up the book, we actually start with Parker Duchesne. He is a fairly newly minted billionaire because he wrote an app. He wrote a delete me app is what he did. And he decided that he was going to sell it because, trigger warning, for parental death in the past and cancer, his dad got really sick. And the only way that he could see, like, getting him better was to have every cent he possibly could to throw at his medical procedures.
Yeah.
And so he sells this company, but
for $20 billion. So,
yeah.
But it was too late.
It was too late. It ended up being too late. Yeah. So right now he's in Denver. He's bought a penthouse and he sent his mom and his aunt on like a worldwide vacation where they're just gonna hop around because his mom found it really, really hard to be in town and in the house that they lived in. Like, so this is how she's dealing with her grief, is just like escaping for a while.
And he's dealing with it because he and his dad loved hockey together. That was like one of their bonding things. His dad was a Zamboni driver. He grew up with they had season tickets to the Denver.
What is the name of seasons.
What is the name of their team?
I have no idea. He played for, we never find out, I don't think. All I know is that it's not the Rats. Anyway, we'll find out why later.
I was like, okay.
No, the dad played for 2 seasons professionally with Denver and then got injured and had to make it work.
But that was their bonding thing, was like watching hockey together. And he has so many memories of watching his dad do the ice, and like it's just really sweet. And so he buys the team, and he has decided, like, in my father's memory, we're winning the Stanley Cup. Essentially.
Yeah, he doesn't get there at first, but right now Parker's got 2 goals, all right? He bought the team to make sure to, like, honor his father, and it makes him feel connected to his father still. And then the other reason is that a guy who really, really, really fucked him over in high school is on the team, and he says, oh, wow, I had no power in high school, but I can own this motherfucker and torture him now.
When all of basically the main beginner conflict of this book, were you just reading it going, oh, you're so in your early to
mid-20s. Oh, yeah.
You are so young.
Yeah.
Like half of the things that they like run into between each other, I just like, oh, I am a crone. Boy. And this is part of, like, it wasn't even as bad as it is with like extra young kids. Like, this is part of the reason that it's a little hard sometimes for me to read like college books even nowadays, where they're in their like early 20s, they're like 19 and doing things. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, you're just so young. Or like, God,
you think so much of this matters, and I really promise you it doesn't.
Well, and I understand that it is extremely important to you right now.
Sure.
And I understand it's the worst version of this that has ever happened to you, but also like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say that in Parker's case specifically, I think it is severe enough to be rather debilitating. He gets mercilessly bullied in high school to the point that he actually has exactly 0 friends. He closed himself off so much because of the way he was treated in high school that he didn't even make friends in college because it was just safer to be by himself. Yeah. And so now he's 26, he's a billionaire, his mom is on vacation, his dad is dead. He's looking around at this penthouse being like, wow, money does not buy companionship or friendship or anything, right? Fulfillment. Yeah. And one thing that I really like about this book is that unlike most of the other books, these 2 are so lost in different ways.
And they're so lonely.
And lonely, yeah. Connor is having, like, an identity crisis, right? And he feels completely adrift because now that he sees the lens with which his brothers have been looking at him and experiencing life, he's like, that is the exact opposite of everything I thought was happening. And I was obviously like so, I don't know, delusional or self-centered or, whatever that I didn't notice. I was oppressing them, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And so he's taking it really, really hard. And Parker is literally alone in this world. And so, and the biggest thing is that the bullying started because Connor was protecting, he thought at the time, Easton. He knew Easton was gay. He didn't want that to get out. And he walked into like a hallway or something where Parker was talking to Easton. And it looked like it might have been flirty, or it looked like they might have been speaking too close to each other or whatever. And so Connor has a temper, and he goes 0 to 1200 and pushes Parker up against the wall and then calls him douche and tells him to never, ever speak to his brother again. And so because his last name is Duchesne, that stuck. And Connor never actually did any of the bullying, but he never saw it happening.
Stopped the bullying.
And he never stopped it.
And like he was the captain, and so one of the things that he is struggling with this book is coming to the understanding, essentially, that like if he had said something, it would have stopped. He was like, I'm not the bully, but I am the bully by proxy. I enabled that bullying by not saying anything.
And he gave them their biggest weapon, right? He wrote the permission structure not only to bully him, but I mean, it's not super creative, but like douche for Duchesne is rough. It's rough, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, so he was the enabler, and that's like one of the big things in this book is him kind of seeing himself through another lens, like, because he's always just seen himself as the big brother protector, and now he's recognizing that the way that comes across to everybody else is like, buddy, you were unintentionally hurting other people because you were so just dead focused on hockey, dead focused on being kind of a third parent to your brothers and protect it and all of these things. And
like that hit me pretty hard. That part I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, it's also like this book does a great job of like the series leading up to this, seeing this, because we've seen Connor on page historically, and like in the other books, like Connor's a lot in the other books.
Connor's a lot. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's to the point that, like, remember, one of the key things about this series is the queer collective that the guys in the first book start, Ezra starts. And it's the queer collective in hockey. And so they always meet up with each other when they play each other for, like, support and, like, you know, community, making sure everybody's good. And just, like, being fucking ridiculous is also a big part of it. And so we've seen, like, Connor show up to queer collective meetings, even though he is the straight brother, right? And they're like,
he's their token straight boy, kind of.
Yeah. He's like, they're like, what is he doing here? And Easton's like, I don't know, man. Like, he just has to, I don't know. Yeah. It's fine. I'm just going to.
Yeah, and when I say he's their token straight boy, it's not by their choice. It's just because Connor is shoving himself in order to be there for Easton. Also because he is dead worried that Easton's going to do some dumb shit with one of the collective guys.
With Ezra, basically. It's
going to turn into a scandal and all of these things. And it's one of those things. I loved that this conversation was had in this book, because I think that if you have never experienced
about unintentional homophobia,
yes,
because that's what I thought.
Connor is an ally in the sense, and he is supportive in the sense of he doesn't want his brother to suffer for being queer in a extremely macho, extremely homophobic, like historically homophobic, and I mean not historically, it is currently as well.
It is currently, yeah.
But sport and all of these things and all of these protective instincts, though, not letting somebody because you're worried about how it'll work out for them is still homophobic.
It's still just as stifling.
And like it reminds me frankly of when I came out, and like I won't name that, but like some people's reactions were essentially like, oh, you should hide this because your life will be harder.
Yeah.
And I did.
And it's well-meaning, but fuck, it hurts.
Yes. And it's it's a good example of impact over intent. Like it comes from a good place, but it's not good. It's bad, right? Like this is just as harmful to the person as direct homophobia, especially because it's coming from somebody that they love, because it makes you question, okay, but like, do you really, because like I need you to be a little more ride or die here, where like even if shit does hit the fan because I am out, you're still there for, like, stop being so worried about this. Why does
and
everybody
when you say
else
stuff
get
like that, I have a feeling you're going to say something like, what were you wearing? You know,
yeah,
like
that's
how
exactly
gay
it.
were you being when that thing happened? And it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because what it is like to fix that is what you need to do is when I'm not around, be helping change minds, right? Like that's the solution is like when I'm not around, and even if I'm not directly impacted or other, actually, I don't know how to say this out loud or like properly. You can continue.
No, yeah, no, I understand. It's like, don't direct that toward the person, direct it toward the system, direct that energy toward the world.
That's the phrasing
direct it
that
toward
I was
the people who are like directly around them. Because it's not their fault. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the feelings and phobias and bigotry that's surrounding them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, but Parker is very like, I am going to deal with my grief by entering my supervillain era. And the way that I'm doing
he's
that,
so bad at it.
He's so bad at it. I love it so much. At one point in the book, he's like, I really want to be a supervillain, but I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
Well, and the funniest thing to me is like, you're a billionaire. You could literally pay somebody to be the supervillain planner for you. You know, like you could have minions to make this happen. But he also like he doesn't actually want to be a supervillain because he's a sweetheart.
He is. Parker is just a sweetie sweet face. And really, all he's ever wanted is like connection and affection and all of the things that he sort of felt starved for because socially has been a disaster for him, you know? And so he also like recently, his boyfriend broke up with him because he was such a workaholic writing that multi-billion-dollar app, you know?
Oh my God. Melody, there are so many moments in this book where Parker is, because there is no way Parker is not ADHD. There's zero chance in, because like and like, I don't know, maybe he has a couple of other different miscellaneous, but the way that he interacts with the world, and then also the way he gets sucked into what he, as a developer.
Yep.
As a Parker who's just not a billionaire.
Yes.
Like, watching him talk about things and interact with the world, interact with people, interact with, like, get sucked into what he's doing, all of those kind of...
Lose track of time, miss, like, phone calls, do all the stuff, yeah.
Oh, my God. So relatable. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, like... I don't even remember what started this. I just clicked into something that you said that had me go, oh my God, me and Parker are the same.
Oh, because his boyfriend broke up with him because he was, at first it was, he was never around. And like we find out later on in the book that there was more than just Parker being a workaholic. Like they were trying to fix their relationship and meet his boyfriend's physical needs by opening the relationship. And Parker didn't know that he wasn't great at that.
When I was in my early 20s, before I realized the aromanticism and the polyamory and all of that stuff, I used to call myself a disclaimer girlfriend, Melody. And I started doing open I remember very, very vividly my very second partner. I told her, I'm going to be gone for and also like, I'm not going to be able to give you all of the attention you need. Do you want to open our relationship so that you can have like physical and sexual fulfillment when I am unavailable? Literally. So like when Parker was talking, like I was like, I literally was like, Parker, stop it. The only difference is that I legitimately don't have a problem with it.
Yes, exactly.
Like, Parker does. So we find that this book is called Possessive Puckboy, and it is because, my God, Connor is a possessive little gremlin. And like it in a way that like I love the toxicity conversations that they had in this book because they're right? Like this is one of those things where when you find even something that might seem bad to everybody else, to some people, as long as it's done healthfully, right? And you're on the same page, it's not a problem.
Yes.
That's as far as you interact with relationships, that's sex, that's like, it's just, Connor is extremely possessive once he has declared that something is his and like his to protect, and this is mine, right?
Uh-huh.
And historically, he hasn't really done that in romantic relationships because he hasn't really explored romantic relationships because he's worried about giving this idea to women of like the next Mrs. NHL kind of thing. Like, he doesn't want to give them the wrong idea. But then we find out like Parker likes a possessive because it makes him feel wanted. It makes him feel needed and cherished. And I'm like, like, oh my God, the way that they work together, because to be clear, that possessive, this is where Connor and I do not work, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is where, or not Connor. Yeah, Connor and I wouldn't work, because this is where Parker and I are not the same, because like, oh no, baby. Fuck off. But like, Parker loves it.
Parker craves it. And one of the biggest things is that it feeds that sort of like, he doesn't describe it this way, but it's sort of like this black hole in his body that was never filled early on in his life by like friendships and relationships and all of that, because he experienced all that bullying, and then he hermit crabbed in to the point that like nobody could touch him, right? Yep. And it was even sort of like that with his boyfriend, but when he offered to open the relationship because he's trying to accommodate the person that he loves, he didn't realize that his way of dealing with the fact that he didn't realize it would really fuck with him is to be avoidant. And so he started working more in order to avoid like knowing about anything that might be going on. And by the end, his boyfriend was like, I feel like I'm living with a ghost, right?
Well, and I love that they acknowledge this in the book too. And we've definitely jumped ahead, listener, to be clear. Like, we'll say when this happens, but this is a significantly later in the book conversation that the boys have. But Parker essentially, like, the agreement, what he was very clear, because Connor gets mad on his behalf when he finds out about all of this, and he's like, no, he didn't do anything wrong. Like, I broke my side of the rules. Like, like, I wasn't honest, and like, I needed to be honest, and I wasn't, and it led to, you know, but it just not working for both of us, kind of thing. And I love that was acknowledged, right? Where like Connor's so mad about this because like the vast majority of society would get mad on the boyfriend, like at the boyfriend over this. And it's like, no, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Nope. He was absolutely within the bounds of their relationship. Yeah. So anyway, he decides to buy this team. And one of the biggest reasons is really that he's just adrift, right? And when he walks into the locker room to be introduced as the new owner, he decides that he's going to act like he does not remember Connor.
He full on like tiny mini villain he's like rubbing his hands. He's like, I'm going to pretend I don't know him.
And I love that Connor knows it from the start, and he's still like, like it really it freaks him out just as much as Parker wanted it to, right?
Yeah.
Because Easton is like, oh, okay, are you going to go apologize? And Connor's like, what? Apologize.
Not apologize, but like go say hi, like.
Yeah. I guess, you're right. That is later on.
Yeah.
But you're going to go say hi, and he's like, I guess. I don't really know what to do about this. And when he acts like he doesn't know him, Connor's inner monologue is like, oh, that's how he's going to play it, huh? Fine. We can do that. That's great. I don't want to talk about those times anyway, because I do feel very weird about it in this moment. But yeah, by the end of that first meeting, no. So he like says hello, acts like he doesn't know him, and then ends up leaving. And for the next 2 days, Connor is sort of like skulking around, hoping that Mr. Duchesne, as he says, oh, I'm so sorry, I prefer my players to call me Mr. Duchesne. And Connor is just like, it just gets right under his skin, and he's like, he's so mad about it.
Well, it's so funny because he's like, I'll just stay away from him. And then he's like, why do I see this man everywhere? And it turns out that partially because he's a dread, like Parker really wants to be part of the team. Like that's the thing is like buying this team is kind of like buying a community, right? He's hoping that like he can be involved and things like that. And the
last owner was incredibly hands off.
Well, and that's the thing is he started not hands off, which is where he gets this idea like, oh, I can do this thing. But by the end, he's no longer like involved in anything. The team just kind of runs. He's the money factory. And he's like, he can tell though that like nobody really wants him around, but also like he's trying so hard. He's trying so hard.
But because he is an awkward little kid, his version of that is to be like, I am going to project competence. And so he shows up in suits and he's very professional and like he's really like, you know, putting up this sort of front that he's hiding behind because he is so unsure about what he's doing and how to be. He's
terrified of other people.
Yeah. So anyway, during one of the practices, Connor watches Parker see Easton go into the locker room and follow him in there. And so Connor immediately sees red, goes in there and does the exact same thing over again. He just throws Parker up against the cubbies and he's got his like forearm over his throat being like, why the fuck are you cornering my brother in here? It's really inappropriate as the owner. And Easton's like, whoa, no.
Yeah, and we see this scene in book 7 from Easton's point of view and like the kind of freak out that leads into all of this from Easton's point of view. And so now from Connor's point of view, though, he's like, as he's doing it, he's like, what am I doing?
I'm just lighting my career on fire.
Why am I doing this? Like, I know better. This is exactly what, but he can't stop himself because he's in full protect mode. And it's like, buddy, this is impulsive.
Yeah. And so Parker looks at him and he goes, oh, I see nothing has changed from high school. And Connor's like, I knew you knew who I was.
Well, and like he's just after this ends, Parker basically like rolls off like, oh, like your ass is grass. Like the vibe is your ass is grass, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, as he leaves, Connor is recognizing for the first time, oh, my brothers aren't the ones who need protecting. I'm the one who needs protecting. Like, oh shit.
The world needs protection from me.
Well, no, and he's about himself too, though, is because he's like, he's always been protecting them. Like, I made like this really clicked. Like, he needs them to help him through this now because their support and their protection because he is about to probably lose his entire career.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Though,
yeah. Well, and meanwhile, Parker, we see his reaction afterwards, and he's very mad at himself because that was really, really mad. And so why did he sort of love it?
Yes.
You know, like what? That's not cool that Connor did that to me, but I did love that he was pushed up so close to me. And we start seeing these like hints dropped that there was a lot more to Parker's side of this relationship than Connor knew about. You know, like one of the reasons it hurt so badly that Connor did this is because he had a giant crush on him all of high school. And he's been trying to tamp it down and light it on fire and like choke it out, you know, and he can't do it. And so he's like, oh, I hate that I'm still attracted to him.
Yeah, but then he goes in and he's like,
still having these reactions
want to apologize.
to him, you know?
But
Connor decides
like,
that he's gonna apologize.
Then apologize.
And see
and Connor's
if
like,
he can
I did.
mend fences
and he's like,
that was,
you said
keep his career
to
a little bit. He's going to be
and
the
so
bigger
he basically
person,
is
Sabrina,
like, you need to apologize. Like, actually do the apology. And then when he does, he's like, I'm so sorry that I did that. It was oh, yeah. It's a whole ass thing. Yeah. And basically Parker, Yep.
No, I'm sorry that you had such a bad experience in high school. So sorry about that. It's bullshit. And Connor says that. I mean, Parker says that. He's like, okay, that was complete and utter bullshit. You didn't believe
up storming
a single
out
word
after
you
that.
just said. And Connor's like, can you just let me go through the societal motions and put it behind us? Like, I'm doing the thing. X, Y, Z. Why do I have to be genuine about it? Connor's thinking. Yeah.
Because Parker is like, I'll accept your apology when you actually apologize. Mm-hmm. And Connor ends up storming out, and then we see them kind of avoiding each other, and then they get pulled into a conversation together in the hallway because the coach is looking for people to help fill 2 tables at a charity gala kind of thing that night. And coach is like, well, Connor is super duper responsible and we have a game tomorrow. So like, I can trust that he won't get drunk and he won't be hungover and it'll be great.
And so then he's like, can you bring your parents? Your brother can bring Knox. Like that's this many seats. And like, and he's like, do you need me to bring a date? And the coach is like, yeah, sure. Great. That's another person. And so all of a sudden Parker's standing there being like, yeah, of course he's the kind of guy that can just have a date ready at the very last minute. Okay, cool. That's fine.
Well, and then Connor's like, what is this for even? And Parker looks at him and goes, it's a bullying initiative in high school.
And like, and he's got this like evil smirk on his face.
And hilariously, so Connor's sitting there going, oh my God, this is his evil plan. He's going to bring me here and then he's going to turn it into like a big thing and like embarrass me and all that. And meanwhile, Parker is sitting, we see in his point of view later that he's like, I did not plan for Connor to be involved.
I don't want him to be there. This is fucking weird. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And, like, I have to listen to people being, like, talk about being bullied while sitting next to my bully's parents and not say anything, not just, like, burn his life down.
Yeah. But then he's like, actually, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity to enact my evil plan. And then they are there. They get there. He meets the parents. He meets Knox, all of these things. And then the
date is a teammate's sister who's also a teacher. And so she's really there for charity. She just has to, like, sit next to Connor, you know? Because Connor's also, like, not into it, right?
Yeah. And so Connor ends up pulling Parker aside and he's like, all right, you got me here. I'll make pulls him aside at the gala and is like, okay, like you got me here. I'll make a big donation. Are we even now? And Parker, like, he does. I'm reading the quote right now, looks at him and says, we'll never be even, but you can do one thing for me. Whenever whoever it is gets up to talk, listen. Don't look away. I want you to pay attention. And Connor's like, okay, well, but like, when are you going to let this go? And he's like, well, that's up to you when you're capable of giving me an apology that I'll accept. And then he's like, but I'll take cutting you off from everyone and everything you love as a consolation prize. And Connor's like, you're so fucked up. And Parker says, yeah, and you made me this way.
You made me this way.
Brutal.
Well, and so Connor starts just throwing back whiskeys. All right. He needs a way to cope with this. And his answer is whiskeys. Many of them.
Well, and like, very importantly, before the whiskey really starts flowing, we do have another apology moment where he pulls him aside. And he told Easton he's a little bit tipsy right now, right?
Yeah.
Because like later he gets blitzed, but right now he's like a little bit tipsy. He got a little bit of that liquid courage. And he does go apologize to Parker again. And he's like, okay, here's my genuine apology. And also you're welcome, because he did pull him out of an awkward conversation.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I can't ever understand what it was like for you in high school, but I do know that my actions hurt you. For that, I can be sorry, because that was never my intention. My only intention that day was to get you away from my brother. I didn't mean to hurt you, but I know that doesn't matter, because the bottom line is I did. and I'm sorry. That stupid, and well, hang on though, because
yeah,
then
wait for it.
He
keeps talking. That it should have ended there.
Yeah, so Parker's listening and he's looking contemplative. Like, oh, okay. And then Connor is like, maybe he just needs a little push. And he says, Connor grabs a shovel and says, that stupid teenager who acted before he could think grew up to be an asshole. I don't know how to be anything else. I haven't changed, and I think I've proved that. I'm not worth your effort. You don't really want to be this guy, do you? Bitter, vindictive? You bought a team so you could torture me? Don't you want to let it go? And Parker's face goes from contemplative to
rage.
Stone. Go fuck yourself. Because,
so he turns the tables. He turns Connor around and pushes them up against the wall and says, like, you're still just so fucking selfish. You think I bought the team to do this to you. Oh, my God.
Yep. And and then when he walks away, he's like, yeah, this just confirmed that I'm going to make your life a living hell.
Doesn't he also say, and like, not for nothing, you're welcome, because I made it so that all you spent your whole time on computers and now you're a billionaire.
Yep, and now you're a billionaire. Yep. He literally says, I'm sorry I gave you the opportunity to, Melody, you fucking steel trap asshole. What did I do? You basically just quoted what he said to him.
No way.
Yes, he said, I'm so sorry I gave you the opportunity to hone your skills and become a billionaire.
Okay. And later on, when he's drunk off his ass on the bathroom floor, the way he explains this to Easton and Knox is to be like, yeah, and then because me is best friends over computers, and now he's billionaire.
And they're like, you did not say that. And he's like, I sure did.
It's true.
And they're like,
it's just a truth.
Oh my God, you're losing your job. This is like, there's literally like, we can't help you. At some point, you can't help stupid.
Yeah.
Like, this is the point where like, oh, we can't do anything else here because
Well, so Parker goes into the bathroom because he actually does get pretty overwhelmed after they're sitting at the table and listening to all of the speeches from people who have been bullied. And he feels like they just were like yoinking thoughts out of his brain as they were speaking, you know? So he's feeling vulnerable and a little too seen and goes into the bathroom and like sits on the toilet lid and is just like, what am I doing? And then he hears Easton and Knox basically throw Connor into the bathroom because he like cannot walk. He's drunk. He's Hammertown.
Oh
and
God.
He listens to them like try and figure out what to do. And then finally and Connor's saying stuff that's obviously about Easton and Knox's like relationship and the way that it's impacting, like basically saying that like Easton stole his best friend, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so Parker's sitting there and he's like, okay, I think this part is not my business, so I should let them know I'm here. And he walks out and Easton tries to be like, Mr. Duchesne, do you see how my brother has food poisoning? Oh no. Wow, this is terrible. And Parker realizes, like, this is the exact perfect moment for his villain era. He can go out and get the coach and tell him all about this and walk him straight to the bathroom and see Connor just a puddle on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instead, he decides to go out and get the coach, like, a drink off the menu and get into a conversation with him so that his back is to the bathroom and the front doors, and the guys can sneak Connor out. And he does not understand why he is not just driving the nail into this guy's coffin, right? Like, why can't I?
Yeah, so the next day, Connor is in fact drunk, borderline still drunk, and hungover as hell the next morning.
Yeah. And
misses morning skate. But he's like, okay, I'll make it to the game. He does make it to the game, but he's still vomiting. And the coach is like,
throwing up.
Is like, oh my God, what the hell, dude? And like Easton's like,
and then
it's food poisoning.
No,
and then Parker backs them up.
Yeah.
Parker rolls in and he's like, yeah, I also had food poisoning, but I stopped vomiting earlier. It was terrible. Yeah. And like their coach is like, okay, fine, you're scratched tonight. Like, God damn it.
But Connor is like, and this is Connor's year 26 moment for me. Like, this part of his whole character arc is like, you're either an abusive narcissist or very young, you know, because the way that he handles a lot of this, at least in his inner monologue, a lot of times out loud as well, is to be like, I don't understand. Why are the two people who hate me the most backing me up and covering for me, you know? And it's like, bud, Easton doesn't hate you. He has legitimate qualms.
Yes.
And making yourself the victim is just a way to pull the rug out from under him and take power back for yourself instead of actually dealing with your issues.
Well, and like, this is an example of the, like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right?
Yes.
Like this realization that you are not who you thought you were and that you may have hurt other people, right? And it's like, there are other ways to handle this, and victimizing yourself for the whole thing is not the way to do it. But also, like, I can also understand where Connor's coming from, though, because he kind of late in life is having all of these and like, not that 26 is late in life, but like,
no, I know what
he's
you mean,
having some realizations that a lot of us have in our late teens, you know?
Yes.
Like, because he's just never seen himself as, he had this script of who he is, and now it's all being turned upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So Parker takes pity on Connor, essentially, and he's like, y'all go to the game, I'll take care of Connor, and then ends up inviting him up to the owner's suite to watch the game from there.
Which he's already been in, and it has so many seats that are always empty, Parker thinks to himself. He's been in there a couple of times because he loves watching the team, but it is so very empty, and he has no one to invite to the owner's box.
Well, and this is also the scene where Connor really recognizes the main character energy that he moves through life with, because he finds out that Parker bought the team because of his dad, and Connor's like, oh, it's not all revenge for me? And it's like, yeah, it's almost like other people have complete lives outside of their interaction with you, buddy. Like, they have motivations that are not you related.
Yeah. Well, and so they end up like talking, and Parker doesn't super understand how or why this is happening, but he's opening up to Connor about his dad and the way that he's handling his grief, and the fact that he is very lonely, and the fact that he doesn't have any friends. And Connor, meanwhile, is opening up to him about feeling like a really terrible person, and the fact that he doesn't know if he's ever going to be able to change, and that he doesn't know himself is one of the biggest topics of this conversation. Is he's like, I don't even know if my favorite food is my favorite food, or if it's just because my mom told me that I loved it when I was 5.
Well, and he's like, and what's my type? Like, do all of the wags are blonde bombshells? Like, what, am I more of a brunette kind of guy? And then Parker says a throwaway line of, maybe you're not into women at all. And like, it really is for him a throwaway line, because Parker is straight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But boy, this has some lasting impact on Connor over the next little while.
It's the combination of that line, and then Parker saying like, and by the way, like, the protective, like, sort of possessive streak is not really a problem if it's aimed in the right direction. And he's like, what? No, it's like toxic. And he says, I mean, a little toxicity isn't bad all the time. Some people really like it.
You'll have to find someone who'll appreciate being possessed, and some people really, really like it. And he thinks he's being so slick.
Oh my
and
God.
Sneaky.
So subtle. Oh,
wow.
wow.
My God.
What a James Bond is Parker, you know?
Yeah. And then it's a really poignant conversation that they have, right?
And then Connor says, okay, so you don't have any friends, I guess, and I don't have anybody that I can really talk to because my best friend is dating my brother who has issues with me, so it feels like a boundary or whatever. Let's be friends. And Parker's like, what? That's what? And he's like, yeah, let's be friends. Let's figure out how to do this friendship thing together. It'll be great. And Parker's like, okay, sure, man. Absolutely. Thinking that Connor's just, it's just like another throwaway thing, right? So then the next day he tries to go in to like a team meeting, but Connor's in there.
Please hold.
Oh, please hold.
Please
no,
fucking
Connor has to go home first. That night. Oh my God.
Connor goes home.
Yeah.
And then is horny
he has too many
while
thoughts.
He's trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, he can't turn his brain off, and suddenly his dick has appeared to be very interested.
And then he can't stop thinking about Parker. And he keeps like pushing Parker out of his brain, and he full on does like hockey coach pep talk to himself. Like, you won't be able to sleep without this, so just like get your hand on your dick and let's go. Like, don't think about anything. Just think about all of these faces. And then as he is reaching climax, Parker's face pops into his head and he comes and he's like,
yeah,
well, that didn't work.
Okay.
And then he goes to sleep. And then the next morning he wakes up hard and he's like, well, maybe I'll just give in a little bit, And then he just is like, and then he does jack off thinking about Parker again.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is
confusing and a little strange, but I'm also just going to kind of go with it. And that's one of my favorite things about Connor's personality is that ultimately he does know who he is, right? Like, he has a lot of these, or maybe he doesn't know who he is, but he is very confident in his being in general, Yeah. And whether or not that being changes, he is like naturally very like, no, it's whoever I am is going to be whoever I am. I just want to try and be the best person I can be. And so there isn't like really a gay panic kind of a thing at first, He's just like, this is a weird thing that happened. I wonder if it has any implications or ramifications. Who knows? Let's deal with it later. And he goes to work.
Meanwhile, Parker is thinking to himself that the whole conversation about being friends is pity, right? He's like, clearly that was out of pity. And he learns real quick that that's not real because he doesn't want to take a private plane to get to games, but he doesn't want to go to games. So he's going to fly on the same plane as everybody else, but he's just going to like sneak up into the back and like be sneaky.
Once again, it's like, the owner is there and I don't want to like change, like the boss is here. Everybody's like, whole experience of the ride is going to change. So he wants to get in there and just like get in the furthest back in the corner seat and like huddle down and not make a peep, right?
And then Connor sits next to him and he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, we're friends, right? And he's like, are we friends?
You were serious
like,
about
I thought that was like a pity thing. And Connor's like, nah, dude, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. We're friends now. And like, Parker doesn't know what to do with it.
No, because we are all meeting Connor, the golden retriever. Because it turns out he's only like a Rottweiler, scary, whatever, if he feels like he has to be in protection mode. But if that weight is taken off of his shoulders, he just gets to be his golden retriever self.
Well, and at one point while they're sitting there, and this is very relatable, Parker goes, it's cute you think I'm joking, he grumbles. A few days ago, him saying I'm cute would have probably put me on edge. It still does, but not for the same reason. I let it sink in before testing something. It's cute you think I don't believe you. Was that weird? Was it flirty? Am I flirting with a man? I don't think so. Flirting is more overt. This is me replying with a common phrase that he said first. I think? Like, he's just like, let me test the waters a little bit. Like, was that like overthinking? Meanwhile, Parker doesn't read it like that because again, Connor's a straight guy. Like, why would he? So they end up sitting next to each other on the plane, And they're headed to New York, and Parker has decided it's been too long since I've been laid. I need to get laid while I'm here. And so he is debating whether it's going to be a club hookup or an app hookup, but like he will be hooking up while he's here.
And he knows that it's not going to fulfill everything that he wants, because really, like, sex is great for him, fine. But what he's looking for is like the connection and the intimacy. And so he like is sort of rolling the dice and being like, hopefully they'll want to cuddle after too, you know? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And he's down at the bar when Connor pops in and sees him and shows up. And Connor is like right there looking
and it's
like
a very packed bar. Okay, so he has to be like up very close. Because otherwise, how would he talk to him? You know what I mean? He's got to be, like, right there.
Mm-hmm. And then while he's there, he is like, what are you doing? You should come out with the team. And Parker's like, no, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the boss. Like, that really just kills the whole vibe and blah, blah, blah. And Connor's like, okay, well, fine, whatever. But also, like, you should come out. And Parker's like, no, actually, I'm going to hook up. And Connor's like, what do you mean? And then this was fucking wild to me because Parker's so worried about like inappropriate and like all of like crossing lines and all of that kind of thing. And he pulls out a fucking gay hookup app in
his defense, it was already open on his phone. He had been swiping and like laying the groundwork for this before Connor showed up.
I know, but then he did not lock that screen and leave it locked. He starts going through, and Connor's like, oh, well, like, what are you into? And he's like, that's an awful lot of butts. And like, Parker's like, yeah, it's also a lot of abs. Like, I like abs. And then Connor says, you also like a little possessive, huh? And he's like,
oh, I thought he hadn't noticed that. And then he gets into a message and he types "pick?" ? And
like, then you might want to look away, Connor.
Yeah, you might want to look away. And then just a hard dick comes through, and Connor's like, whoa, okay.
And Parker's like, okay, yeah, that'll do, that'll work.
Yeah. And so then they start talking about like the mechanics of hooking up, and he's like, what? Oh, is that like is enough for you or whatever? And Parker's thinking to himself, silly straight boys. It's not all about size, you know. But I do want to make sure that, like, he won't break me is really the issue, you know?
Yeah. And so he ends up leaving to go do this hookup.
To go to the hotel.
And before he even makes it to the hotel that is next door, Connor comes out after him and, like, is like, hey, wait. Can I ask you something? Can I try something real quick? And Parker's like, yeah. Connor pulls him into an alley and shoves him up against a wall. And Parker is immediately like, oh,
I'm about to get wrecked.
Yeah. And he does. But like kissing wrecked.
With a kiss.
Connor puts his mouth on Parker. They have this really intense kiss up against the wall. And then immediately Connor pulls back and he's like, oh, fuck.
No. He says, don't hook up. And then he runs away.
Yeah, but in his head, he's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And he fully just fucks it. He starts like weaving through people. Parker finally catches up to him and he's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like, explain. What's going on?
Connor's like, I can't talk about it. And he's like, well, you have to.
He says, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And Parker goes, don't be. I'm not. And he's like, oh, what? Okay. So he's like slowly recalibrating his brain. And he's like, yeah, And Parker's like, okay, you know what? You're going to come up to my room to talk. Because obviously something is going on with you. And we're going to go talk it out. And he's like, okay. They go up to this hotel room. Parker pours some champagne, which I thought was hilarious for some reason. Mm-hmm. And basically he's like, I think I need you to explain what's going on. And Connor's like, I don't know, but I don't even want to admit this, but when you told me you were going to hook up, my whole body was just like, no, you can't, no, don't, you can't. And I kissed you. And Parker's like, okay, well, I liked it quite a bit.
He says, yeah, Connor says, I took something because I wanted it and I didn't ask your permission. And like, I can't believe my ego's so big that I did that and let the possessive part of me out. And I don't even know why it's out. And Parker, I love this so much because Parker's like, you asked if you could try something. I would have pushed you away if I wasn't okay with it. And if I'm completely honest with you, had you asked if you could kiss me first before taking me off guard, I might have come in my pants. Like, it's so cute. And then they're talking and Connor's like, but like, why don't you hate me? Like, I don't understand how you still don't hate me. Yeah. And Parker says, there are a lot of reasons. Because I've seen how you're struggling, because you might be a late bloomer and haven't figured yourself out yet. Or maybe it's because I finally have your attention and I'll do anything to keep it. And Connor says, even kiss me again? And Parker's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yes. And Connor's like, nothing beyond that. I don't know that.
Kissing.
Like,
just kissing.
Oh my God. And then Parker is like, okay. And they lean in. And they kiss, and then Connor brings his hand
takes over.
up behind the back of Parker's head in a super possessive mood. And like
the nape of his neck, right at the base of his skull, pulling him in and keeping him there right where he wants him.
Yep, and Parker like stops the kiss, and he's like, oh my God, I am like way too into the, like, this is not, oh my God, you have to stop, we have to stop. If you want this to stay at kissing, then you have to stop. And then Connor's like looking at him with like heavy lidded eyes with his hand there. And he's like, what, but like, what, why? And he hasn't removed it. And Parker says, Connor, I am very gay and attracted to you and very, very into the way you're taking control. Please let go of my neck. And Connor like, like this? And Parker goes, too much, and I'd really like to keep my word, so you're gonna have to help me out here. Right. And so Connor finally pulls away, and they're like kind of like this weird awkward little limbo thing, and Connor's like, I'm sorry that I ruined your hookup, and Parker is essentially lays it all down for him and is like, it's fine, I wasn't gonna get what I needed anyway, I don't think. And Connor's like, well, what do you need? And Parker explains like the cuddling, like feeling close to somebody, connection and things like
feeling cared for.
And Connor's like, I'm down to try cuddling. And Parker's like, what? And Connor's
like, yeah, I don't think I can do anything else, but like cuddling, I mean, convert me to cuddling, man. I've never done it before with a hookup because I don't want to give him the wrong impression.
Oh my God. And then they both end up in bed. Parker is about to go into cardiac arrest because Connor is shirtless in boxers. And he's just, oh my God. And then
curled around him.
Spoon and like, oh, it's so, so cute. And then Connor wakes up the next morning fully just entangled with Parker. And he's like awake and horny and hard. And he's like, oh man, I feel like I might be down to touch the penis, but also like Parker's sleeping and like, but like I'm also really horny and I really want Parker to be awake because I really want to like kiss him again and like touch the penis, you know, and like do like sexy things, right? So he like brings his nose up along Parker's jaw to his ear, and he's like, Parker, wake up. And Parker wakes up and goes, you stayed.
And Connor says, turns out I'm really good at this cuddling thing. I nailed it. And he's like, yeah, you really did. And he's like, I'm really good at the kissing thing too, huh? And Parker's like, yeah, you really are. And then they kiss, and then Parker's like, what's going on? What do you want? And he goes, I don't know. I just want to like kiss you and come. And Parker's like, oh yeah, I got this. Tell me if there's anything I do that you don't like, but like, let's do this thing. And so Parker like straddles him, gets on top of him, and they like rides him essentially. They fraught until they both come. And
Connor is so into it that like he's like all he can think about is skin on skin. And so he without even like anything pulls his boxers down, and Parker's like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. Like and then he ends up getting his pants down, and now they're like naked, like cock on cock fighting, and Connor is like, oh,
it's a fucking revelation.
This is a revelation.
Yeah. This is wow. I didn't know anything could be this good. Holy shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. And it's not only like obviously the cock on cock. I think it's also the fact that like they're basically like breathing into each other's mouths, and then Parker puts his cheek next to Connor's cheek, like with his face sort of in the pillow. And yeah, it's just wonderful. Like, and then
but then they're late for the bus, and Parker makes it down before Connor does. Connor finally makes it to the bus, but like everyone's like kind of giving everyone heck over Connor being late, and then Parker's like, oh my god, I'm like the center of attention right now. I really hope that like nobody thinks anything, which like obviously they're not going to. Parker, no one's gonna suspect that the owner of the team is fucking the straight guy on the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
But Parker has this really sweet conversation with the coach about like being more approachable and wanting to be like part of the team more than just a bank, essentially.
Parker is gobsmacked because the coach is like, well, you know, you're kind of intimidating, right? And he's like, what? And he's like, I mean, not to me. I don't think anybody intimidates me. But yeah, to everybody else, you're like really, you're like Mr. Suit and put together and serious and professional. And he's like, oh, I'm so scared all the time, is what he says to the coach.
And then Connor sits next to Easton on the bus, and Easton is immediately like, you reek of cum, dude. Like, what is happening? And Connor's like, we can't talk about this right here. And immediately, like, Connor is not someone who can keep a secret. No. Like, he's like, I'm gonna keep this to myself, but also I'm not going to at all, because he immediately, they get home and he has a conversation with Easton and Knox, and he's like, hey, so, I did sex things with a man. And then Easton goes, oh my god, you did sex things with Parker Duchesne.
Yeah.
And Connor, instead of being like, I would never, he's like, yeah,
I did.
That's exactly who I did.
I really liked it. Wow. It's incredible, actually, what happened.
And they're both super shocked, obviously, but they're also super supportive, and it's really sweet.
Yeah.
So we end up zippy zapping to Parker in full Nike athletic workout gear, walking into the building, and he's like, I feel super weird not being in my suit, but look how approachable I am. I don't have no resting bitch face. I'm an approachable guy. Like, it's so fucking funny.
It's so cute.
And he immediately goes in and sets off a bazillion hockey superstitions, because he's like, oh yeah, here's stats about game. And they're like, bro, this is not the time or place. And he's like, well, now that I have seriously fucked up, I'm gonna leave. So I stop fucking up. And in the hallway, Connor follows him out. And Parker is like, dude, what, like, why are you doing this? And Connor's like, because we're buddies. What are you doing today? You want to hang out? And Parker's like, you don't have to do this. And Connor's like, I wasn't kidding when I said that
I don't have to. Hello?
I think you're actually really fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. Like, I want to hang out with you.
So Parker ends up, he was going to an animal shelter because, like, he really wants a pet, but he's also very picky about his living space and, like, how that is handled.
Everything needs to be very clean. He's worried about cleanliness. Like, it's something that is huge on top of his list. And so he's been having a hard time being like, cats and dogs shed. And also, I'm going to be traveling so much that, like, a dog would be tough in general, you know?
Melody, I literally, at the when he was first having this pet, like, back and forth pet thought, like, 6 chapters ago or what, like, however long ago, I literally thought to myself, man, you know what I bet would work really well for him, actually? A rat.
A rat. Yeah.
Because I've had rats, and I was
Same.
like, that would be very, very effective. Like, that would honestly be a great pet for him because they're extremely fastidious. They're small enough to travel. They're very curious, and they love to snuggle.
And they're so smart. Yeah.
Yes, I was literally like, man, I bet a rat would really work for him. And then this happened, and I was like, oh my God, hell yeah. Because they go to this adoption agency because Connor tags along. He's like, we're hanging out, bro. We're going to get you a pet. We're going to get us a pet.
We're going to get us a pet.
And like, we're going to be co-parents. And Parker's like, what?
What
are you
talking about? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be so great. We can like, I'll watch the dog when like you're out of town and I'm not and stuff. But then they get there and he's talking to Sam, the shelter guy. And Sam is obviously like, you know, testing the water with Parker, flirting a tiny bit. And also like showing him the animals and everything.
Connor gets so fucking weird. I cannot. If you have not read this book, Melody and I will not be able to do justice to explain how fucking insane Connor starts acting.
Yeah, he really does. He's immediately like, oh, nope, we're both getting this rat. I'm buying the rat. So that's going to be really nice. And he's like, no, this is going to be my rat. And he's like, what? Also, he looks at the rat and he's like, it's got little red pink eyes. Like, it's a little demon. Like, you want a rat? That's what you want? And he's like, yeah, I think this might be perfect. Because the rat is also, like, obviously been handled since it was really, really young. And so it, like, goes immediately right up on his shoulder and is, like, cuddling into his neck. And it's already potty trained. It's, like, litter trained. So that's really amazing. And Parker's like, yeah, I think this might be it. And Sam keeps saying things like, well, you know, I'm going to need the rat daddy's information to do all the paperwork and stuff.
And Connor's like, you can have mine. My information.
My address. It's fine. And Parker is loving this. Like, he is noticing what's happening, and he's just, like, kind of a puddle about it. But he's also like, it's still my rat. So, like, mine. So
they end up getting in the car, and Connor's like, all right, well, I gotta go make sure that this little ratty's going to a good home. And he's like, Parker's like, are you trying to, like, finagle an invitation to my house? And he's like, no, I'm inviting myself over. There's a difference. And he's like, I could just drop you off at the rink. And Connor's like, yeah, but you're so loud when you come. So I feel like it's a little risky to do that around other people. And then they get back to the house and like Ratty is out and about and like getting to know everybody. And they're having this conversation where Parker just fully calls Connor out on being possessive at the thing. And Connor's like, God, I'm so sorry. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I know that my possessiveness is toxic and like I don't have that.
And Parker's like rambling and he says, I'm really sorry, but like once I see something as mine, it's like this like demon comes out and I can't stop it. I don't know what to do. And he says it's toxic. And that's when Parker wraps his arms around him and he says it can be toxic, but it can also be really hot under the right circumstances. And it's so cute.
So they end up putting Kikishkin back in his cage, and Parker drags Connor to his bedroom, and it's like sexy times again. Except it's so funny because he goes to wash his hands, and then Connor just flops onto Parker's bed, and he's like, I like this bedroom setup. I like that after we come, can you like shower and I'll just like lay here and watch? And Parker's like, yeah, I guess, sure. And then Connor's like, okay, well, come here then. And they have this really hilarious, sweet conversation because Parker asks Connor, okay, what are you okay with, right? Mm-hmm. And Connor's like, okay, well, like, you moving closer, and like, oh yeah, that's better once Parker's standing between his legs. And then it's so fucking funny to me because Connor goes, what are you comfortable with? And Parker says,
Oh,
I was once spit roasted by random guys I met on an app. I think I can handle just about anything. And Connor's like, what are you talking about? And Parker's like, just let me suck your cock, dude. It's fine.
I want to suck your cock.
And Connor's like, oh my God, just stop confusing all my opinions of you. It's too confusing, I swear. Hot! Like,
yeah.
Fucking me over. Like, oh my God. It's just so funny. But it is kind of sad because the entire time all of this is happening, we are in Parker's head, and Parker is thinking like, I'm so fucking into this. I'm so into this guy, but also like it is a pipe dream that this could be anything more than him just exploring, learning his sexuality. Yeah. Like I'm just the first notch in his gay bedpost, and but he's accepting of that. Which he's like, I'm just sad.
I'm just gonna get as much time, and I'm just gonna soak it all in while I can. And then when Connor wises up and remembers that like I'm me and he's him, I will just look back on this with wonderful memories.
Yeah, and then Connor doesn't even let Parker finish the blowjob before like making him take off his clothing and getting on the bed, and then he like straddles Parker, comes all over his stomach, and then puts his hand on Parker, makes him come, and then rubs it into Parker, and he goes, "It's your turn to smell like us, sir." And Parker is like, "I don't like being dirty, but also I am so turned on right now." Like, insane.
That's where we're going to stop for today. We'll be back tomorrow with the second half of Possessive Puckboy by Eden Finley and Saxon James. Heaving Bosoms is produced by us, Melody Carlisle and Sabrina Bradley. Editing is done by me, Melody Carlisle. Our theme music is by the incredible singer-songwriter Brittany Fonts, and our art is by the ultra-talented author Kate Pryor. If you like our show, remember to follow us on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and leave a review. That one small action is a huge way to help the show. If you want to get in touch with us for advertising inquiries or anything else, you can email us at heavingbosomespodcast@gmail.com. If you want more of us, visit patreon.com/heavingbosomspodcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Heaving Bosoms, on TikTok at Heaving_Bosoms, and in our Facebook group, the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult. See you tomorrow.